Ted, thank you for taking the time to chat a little bit. I was hoping to be able to bring to the Airstream Club membership a picture of what it takes to create kind of an empire, Airstream dealership empire, and why your success really, I think, is based on how you treat people. So just tell us real quickly, why are you so passionate about what you do? What is it that just gets you so excited about this?
Florence, the passion for what I do, it kind of ties into the story of how this all came to being, and it has to do with me being an 8-year-old boy with my grandparents, and them taking me out in their travel trailer, which wasn't an Airstream. And every time they saw an Airstream, they talked about it being the Cadillac of travel trailers. And so over the years, I'd see Airstreams and think the same thing, but it's really about how transformative owning an Airstream can be, and that it's really just a conduit to what people really want to achieve in life, and that is to create memories and adventures and to explore and to grow and to travel. And to be able to bring that to our guests and give them this incredible, iconic product, this brand, this trailer called an Airstream, that somehow gets them closer to their ultimate dreams of creating memories and adventures. So that's what I'm passionate about, because it's about people, it's about you, it's about me, it's about all of our guests. There's such an excitement and such an expectation about what it means to go Airstream. And for some reason, it's different than almost any other brand, whether it be RV, automotive, boat, etc. Something about this just brings out the best of people.
We live in a kind of a unique region because the region I represent in the club, Region 10, is really serviced by all of your dealerships, which you have recently sold to Lithia. Because we are surrounded with the culture you've created at Airstream Adventures Northwest, I don't know if we're receiving a different brand of service at all levels, but tell us why you created this Airstream Adventures Way. What is that? And how do you see that moving forward in time?
So yes, the plan wasn't to create this little mini empire. It just kind of happened. Woke up one day and went, oh my goodness. But the culture that we created was very deliberate. As we started to expand and realize that we had 2 stores and 3 stores, and as we're looking at opening up the 4th, realized that the culture and the expectations of how we wanted the guests to be treated, how we wanted our team members to engage with each other, it started to vary. And I couldn't be at every store every day to help put my thumbprint of that culture. So we created what we call the AANW Way. And it is our culture handbook. It has our purpose as an organization, our vision statement, our commitments to our guests, and our core values. And, I've come up with an acronym for culture, and what it ultimately means is the culture is the language of your business. It's the language of our dealership. And we want everyone to be speaking the same language and making sure that we have common goals, we share the same core values, and that way the guests can experience the same level of service, whether it's on the sales side or the service side or the parts side, no matter which store they went to. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Do we sometimes hire a team member that doesn't quite get the culture, doesn't quite drink the Kool-Aid? Of course. And do we make mistakes and stumble? Yes. But the AANW Way gives us that centering to come back and to be able to say, okay, let's reset. What is our purpose? What should we be doing? And what's our primary goal? And that's always, always delivering on the total guest experience.
I think one thing as consumers of the product, we maybe some of us don't care to know, but we don't know what's going on behind the wall. What does it take to make every part of this click? And there are problems on both sides, both with maybe things on your end or with unruly customers, maybe sometimes. What is, I don't know, what can you tell us about how we can all coexist and just make both of our experiences flourish?
Yeah. That's a great question about what goes on behind the scenes and what this relationship should look like, especially on the service side, because I think that's the biggest challenge for any Airstream owner and probably any owner of a product that needs servicing is there's a lot that happens behind that wall. I often refer to Disneyland that, in front of the castle, it's beautiful and fun, but behind the doors, it can be chaos, but the guests should never see that. That's our job, is to keep you from seeing the chaos that goes on behind the scenes. And it's a lot of times that you have, Airstream that hand builds a product still that has heavy labor content into it. They put somewhere around 3,000 holes into it by the time they're done between the rivets and the windows and everything else. Plus they're building complex systems into these trailers trying to continually keep up with market demand and technologies. You then have vendors that supply products to Airstream, and from air conditioners to hot water heaters to refrigerators. And so you have that component in the servicing side of it. And then you have the team members, our team members that are working on them. And so you have these three major components that you're trying to get to work together well. And any one of us can stub our toes, make a mistake. We can look at servicing an air conditioner that's not working. We call up Airstream and they say, great, call Dometic because they need to do the diagnostic. Dometic runs us through multiple steps of diagnostic that can end up taking a week plus to go through everything they want us to, only to find out that they want us to simply replace the circuit board. And then we go, great, we'll replace the circuit board. Well, they're on back order for 2 weeks. So then we go through that process of getting it in. So there's so many pieces of this puzzle that can really make it problematic. And then we have you, our guests, our owners out there that have higher expectations than you did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And so we as dealers have to continually figure out how can we meet those expectations without creating these massive bottlenecks or these friction points with our guests. And many times we'll cause those friction points because we fail to communicate timely, relevant, accurate information. Sometimes the guest will create that friction point. And when there's a problem, what we really try to find is have the guest help be part of the solution. Whether it's a problem with the Airstream build, whether it's a vendor, or whether it's something we did, is none of us are perfect. None of us have walked this earth and done everything perfectly, and we're going to make mistakes. And when we do is we just want our guests to understand that we're always going to make it right. And sometimes that's going to take some effort. But if someone comes at us blazing both guns, ready to just rip our heads off because something didn't go right, probably not going to get the response they want. We want to be partners with our guests, and we want to use this to help Airstream get better also. And we need to work together so that we can continually provide Airstream productive feedback, constructive feedback on what they can do to be better. And we as dealers need better constructive feedback also. If I don't hear anything from any of our guests, I can only assume everything's going great. And I know that's not the case. But it needs to be in a manner that we're all looking for that same common goal, is how can we make your experience better at the dealership level, and how can dealers help Airstream better at the factory level? And if we have that mentality and that attitude, all the chaos behind the scenes you should never ever see, because we're all trying to achieve the same common goal. I hope that answers your question.
It does. I think so often it's easy to complain or, to go on Facebook and just let loose with a negative experience, a service experience, or you had to wait, 8 weeks just to get in. And then you had to wait 2 weeks to hear they haven't looked at your trailer yet.
Right.
We on this side don't know everything that you guys are going through.
But even with that, that's not acceptable. I'll just tell you now, it's not acceptable that any consumer should have to wait 8 weeks to get in and then wait weeks and weeks again to get in. Are there exceptions to that rule, Florence? Absolutely. That things happen, whether it's because of supply chain issues, communication issues, just somebody not doing their job, but that should be the exception, not the rule. And so we continually are looking at how can we reduce that backlog. And I'll tell you, 90 9% of the time, it's about having the right people on the bus sitting in the right seats. And if we have the right people on the bus that care and have what we call a D.O.P.E, they have characteristics of awareness, drive, ownership, passion, and they can execute, then we can teach them almost any skill set possible. Our biggest challenge always comes down to people. And do we have the right people on the bus? Do we have the right culture? And are we helping them be successful? When we can find that formula, boy, things run so smoothly. And when we communicate with the guests, timely, relevant, accurate, set up proper expectations and say, look, it is going to be 4 weeks, but here's why. You're much happier than if we say, yeah, bring it on in, and then we don't call you for 2 weeks, and then we say, oh, it'll be another 4 weeks, and then we don't call you for another 2 weeks. That's where the frustration happens. I get frustrated. Just set an expectation and then live by it. Don't be late. You're welcome to be early. But if you tell me 4 weeks, then please communicate that. And if it's not going to be, let me know.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way.
It's, I think, refreshing to know that a business as big as this one, Airstream Adventures Northwest, puts this word culture into the business model, right? That you recognize the bottom line is dependent on human relationships. And that's something I've learned by spending time here today. And I really wanted our membership to hear it come from you. So I appreciate you've taken the time to chat with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
I said at the Wyoming rally is, Airstream owners aren't just our ambassadors, but you truly embody, and now that I'm an Airstream owner, that you embody what it means to Airstream. And it just seems to wipe away the differences that we have and brings a commonality amongst people. And it does bring the best out in people. And as a dealer group, we so care. And sometimes it may not look like it. And sometimes we're going to really manage to just foul something up. But the culture within this organization is one that we want to create that language that we're all speaking and that we all have that common goal. Because when you as an owner out there enjoying your Airstream experience, and no matter which dealership, we believe we help every dealer around the country. We will go out and we'll help other Airstream dealerships. We help the factory. Because if you have a great experience in Florida, you have a great experience in Texas, that's good for you, that's good for us, that's good for everybody. So it's not just about Airstream Adventures Northwest, it's about helping that rising tide lift all the boats out there. And when we make a mistake, feel free to call us out on it.
Yeah.
We'll make it right. Just call us out in a calm voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we will do what we can. And if we're not doing what we need to do, then we deserve what we get. And if that ends up being a phone call to the factory, ends up being social media, then we need to learn from that and grow from that. So I get the frustrations that guests have, and we've caused some frustrations for some of you out there. We really have. And as I said, it's always come back to the people.
Yeah.
It's how do we solve the common problems that we're trying to address.
Right on. Well, maybe we'll do another one of these in a few months. We'll see. We'll see how people like it. Thank you.
That would be great. Thank you very much, Florence.